One netizen said in the video that she spent $5,500 to buy herself an apartment in Liaoning Province, China. She has been working out of home for more than 10 years and cannot buy an apartment in her hometown of Jiangsu Province in eastern China. She said she couldn't even afford it after working for another 10 years because they are too expensive, but she can purchase one in the northeast with full payment. Today, a lady from Shenzhen came to Fuxin City, Liaoning Province to buy an apartment. She came here for an apartment with $6,000 to $7,000. This woman felt that life was too stressful and wanted to change her life in another city. She doesn't want to take on a mortgage or rent an apartment. She writes novels and is super soft-spoken. She noticed that the house prices in Hegang and Fuxin were very cheap, so she came over and prepared to purchase one and transfer the ownership tomorrow. China's real estate market continues to decline, and a wave of price cuts has swept across the country. House prices in most of the small and medium-sized cities have fallen to cabbage prices. In Hegang City, Heilongjiang Province, you can buy an apartment for only US $6,000 to US $7,000, making it an example of low housing prices in China. Hegang is located in the northernmost tip of Heilongjiang Province, across the Heilongjiang River from Russia. It was originally rich in coal mines and is one of the 4 major coal cities in Heilongjiang Province. Later, Hegang's coal resources were depleted and there were no other sources of economic creation. It was classified as a resource-depleted city by the Chinese Communist authorities. After that, since young people in Hegang began to leave, the local resident population continued to decrease, and the housing prices continued to fall every year. In recent years, many young people have regarded Hegang as a good place to lay down and have gone there to purchase apartments. According to statistics, in the 3 years from 2020 to 2022, a total of 7,286 people from other places settled in Hegang. In October 2022, 25-year-old Miss Zhao bought a 46 square meter apartment in Hegang for $2,000 and spent less than $7,000 to renovate all the rooms. Miss Zhao is a professional painter and works from home. She originally rented an apartment and worked in Nanjing, the capital city of Jiangsu Province. Her life was stressful there. After researching, she found out that the cost of living in Hegang was relatively low, so she went to Hegang and bought an apartment and settled down. She finds it stressless to live without a mortgage. What surprised her most was that she hired a nanny for only $140. She said that she originally wanted to go to Hegang to opt out, but unexpectedly started a happy life. Another post-90s Xiao Hao also bought an apartment in Hegang. He bought a 70 square meter apartment for $5,600 and moved to Hegang from Hangzhou, Zhejiang Province with his girlfriend. Both of them work online and they only need a computer and the internet. After graduating from university, Xiao Hao came to live in Hangzhou. The monthly rent for the small apartment he rents in Hangzhou is as high as $700, so he can't save enough money to buy an apartment. After having a girlfriend, he wanted to buy one quickly and settle down. Xiao Hao began to collect housing prices in various places from the internet and consulted many real estate agents. Suddenly, a strange place name jumped into his eyes, Hegang. He looked through the housing prices in Hegang and was surprised to find you could buy a house for $5,600 there, while in Hangzhou you could only buy 1 square meter for $5,600. In December 2020, Xiao Hao and his girlfriend packed their bags and came to Hegang. After arriving in Hegang, Xiao Hao followed the landlord he had contacted in advance to the agreed community. This is a relatively remote community with stepped houses. A 2-bedroom apartment of 70 square meters only costs $5,600. Including the cost of decoration and furniture, it is less than the down payment of a house in Hangzhou. They felt that the decision to leave Hangzhou and settle in Hegang was right. What makes Xiao Hao chill is that when he orders a big meal at a restaurant, the bill is only about $15. When I lived in Hangzhou before, any snack would cost $15. Xiao Hao gave up a part-time job after coming to Hegang, but his income from self-media work and online stores is still considerable, with a monthly income of about $1,400, which is already considered a high income in Hegang. If you live in Hangzhou, this money is far from enough and you even hesitate to go shopping.
大家好，大家好，我就是那个90后。
Hello everyone, I am the person born in the 1990s who took his girlfriend and spent $5,600 to settle in Hegang. Some netizens ask me, what is your job in Hegang? What is your source of income? My job is an online job such as running some online stores and making self-media, and I'm usually relatively free. As for income, excluding the living cost, you can at least save some cash every month. Living costs in Hegang are low. I want to address the same thing. I hope you guys can find your lifestyle.
都能找到自己喜欢的生活方式。
On May 21st this year, Xiao Hao posted a video on Douyin to introduce the surrounding of the community where he lives.
看，这就是4万就能买到一套。
This is the community where I live. It's a relatively new community built in 2017. Clean, nice lawn, blue sky, white clouds, nothing to complain about. There are also supermarkets, dedicated parking spaces, and express delivery in the community. What do you think? Look at the corridor again. This is a double door. This is the unit door downstairs. There are marble stainless steel handrails. This is Hegang Park. After Xiao Hao's experience became popular on the internet, many netizens asked him about Hegang housing prices and other topics related to the cost of living. He explained to the Inquirer, Hegang is a third-tier city. If you really decide to settle here, you need to have a job with a salary of more than $700 so that your living standard will not drop too much. Before making a decision, you must be carefully considered, as various factors such as finance, medical care, and family relationships are mixed together, which is not easy. As more and more people inquired, Xiao Hao simply started a house purchase agent business to help others and made extra income. In fact, it was an article on the internet in 2019 that first made netizens aware of the low housing prices in Hegang. In November of that year, an article on Baidu titled "To Drift to Hegang, I Bought an Apartment for $8,000" went viral. In the article, 33-year-old Li Hai described how he purchased the property. Li Hai is a sailor originally from Heilongjiang Province and spends half the year at sea. The average price of an apartment in his hometown of Zhoushan is $2,200 per square meter. Many of his colleagues have been on board for a whole year in order to pay off their mortgages. Li Hai thinks that life is tiring. He couldn't afford to buy one and had to rent, but he wished to own his own living space. Li Hai spent $8,000 on a 2-bedroom apartment in Hegang. This is the first apartment in his life. The house is spacious and bright. On the first day he moved in, he was so excited that he couldn't sleep at night. He finally ended his drifting life. Recently, with the general decline in housing prices in mainland China, housing prices in remote areas have also tended to be Hegang-like. Many young people have settled down after purchasing apartments in remote areas at cabbage prices. A Chinese self-media published an article on July 6 this year that there are at least 25 provinces in the country, including Jilin, Sichuan, Fuxin, Guangdong, and even Chongqing, Tianjin, and even areas near Beijing. Among those provinces, at least 95 cities have experienced the phenomenon of Hegangization. Taking Fuxin City, Liaoning Province, also in northeast China, as an example, the current price of new homes is $480 per square meter. As of now, the social platform Xiaohongshu's Hegang house buying has 10 million views, and Fuxin house buying has 17 million views. A woman from Jiangsu bought an apartment in Fuxin, Liaoning Province. She said it was for a retirement.
我花了3万9给自己买的养老房，有很多网友不理解我。
It's a retirement home which I spent $5,500 for myself. Many netizens don't understand. Why did I come from Jiangsu to Liaoning to buy an apartment? I have been working out of town for more than 10 years, but the money I have saved over the past 10 years cannot afford an apartment in Jiangsu. I am clear that even if I work for another 10 years, I won't be able to buy one in Jiangsu. After coming to Fuxin, I found that many locals didn't understand. Why do so many outsiders come to buy on the 5th and 6th floors? How can I put it? 1 square meter of the apartment in a big city in the south can be purchased here? How does a person working out of home not want to buy a house at such a price? My family and friends told me, hurry up and find another half. If you find your lover, you will have a dwelling place. I can make money, buy a place for myself, and drive a car, so why should I find a lover? I can do everything whenever I want, at home by myself. What's the benefits of getting married?
我就想问你们一句，结婚有什么好处？
This self-media person had a similar experience. She spent $5,000 in full to purchase an apartment in Fuxin. The reason for owning one is because they want to have a sense of belonging and a home of their own.
自从我来复兴买房之后，很多人都很奇怪。
Many people are wondering, why should I come to Fuxin to buy an apartment? Why not stay in Shanghai? I have lived in Shanghai for 15 years and have no happiness. Shanghai is very good for rich people, but for an ordinary migrant worker like me, Shanghai is very depressing. Every month I struggle to save money on food and expenses, but I couldn't live well. I took the crowded and exhausting bus and subway back and forth for 3 hours every day, and I'm tired. Since I can't save enough money for an apartment, I never pay attention to the housing prices in Shanghai. I know it doesn't belong to me. After I came here, I met many young ladies from other places. I found out that we have the same reason to buy apartments here. We wanted a sense of belonging and a dwelling of our own. One day when we have nowhere to go, there was a place for us. After careful consideration, I chose Fuxin. Instead of spending 420 a month to rent a room in Shanghai, it's better to buy one of my own in Fuxin. Moreover, Fuxin has convenient transportation. The train goes directly to Shanghai, and the high-speed train can reach Beijing in 2.5 hours. It's easy to get to Shenyang within an hour and go to work in the future. Fuxin is a prefecture-level city. Its basic facilities are very comprehensive, at least much better than those of my hometown in the countryside, and the housing prices are lower.
房价还比老家的低，很多人说阜新的工资很低。
Not only have housing prices in Hegang and Fuxin fallen to cabbage prices, but as China's real estate market continues to decline, housing prices in some remote areas of major cities have also fallen miserably. For example, in a district in Zhangjiakou, which is more than 100 kilometers away from Haidian in Beijing, many second-hand houses with a total price of less than 14,000 have been sold recently. Moreover, the real estate agent also said that the price can be negotiated. In Guangdong Province, known as the largest economic province, 5 small cities have also been Hegangized. For example, in Qingyuan City, which is just over 90 kilometers away from the center of Guangzhou, there are many houses listed from RMB 2,000 to RMB 3,000 per square meter. Many young people working in big cities are looking for a new Hegang. Consider places with super low housing prices as another chance in life. They feel that they can no longer afford to live in big cities and want to find a cheap house to live in. This is what is happening in China today.